If your community is experiencing urban flooding, you know the kind of flooding that results from excess ponding in yards and streets. You'll want to hear about how FEMA's BRIC program can be used to fund the solution. Urban flooding is a relatively new term. For those of you who haven't heard it before, it happens when rainfall overwhelms the drainage system in cities and suburban neighborhoods. It's common in areas that lack modern stormwater infrastructure. We see this a lot in older neighborhoods that were not constructed to today's standards. But it can happen in any urban area. Projects to resolve this flooding are eligible for FEMA BRIC funding. A common misconception I hear is that the project area must be in the regulatory floodplain or special flood hazard area to apply for BRIC funding. That is not true. The great part about the BRIC program is that the properties in your project area don't have to have flood insurance or even be in the special flood hazard area. They could be in a shaded or unshaded Zone X, which is supposed to indicate minimal flood hazard. Really, the flood hazard on FEMA's flood insurance rate map or FIRM is the hazard from a major waterway like a river or ocean. Some cities have developed maps to show urban flooding, but there are no national maps that show these risks. That's why an engineering study is needed to show the existing flood risk and how the proposed solution will mitigate that risk. When submitting a grant application for a project to reduce urban flooding, you still must demonstrate that the project is feasible and effective, just like projects in the high hazard flood zones. Sub-applications to resolve urban flooding typically are more complex because an engineering study is used to document the effectiveness of the project rather than FEMA's flood insurance study or FIS. Now, when I say that an engineering study is needed, please know that not all are created equally. There are no standards that say what's included in an engineering study. This is a general term that could mean a lot of different things. The contents will vary widely from one study to another. What I have found, though, is that engineering studies are not prepared with a grant application in mind that will come after it. For every BRIC sub-application that I have prepared to mitigate urban flooding, the study has missed some critical information. So the first thing that I do is review the engineering study to see what information is included, and more importantly, what's missing. I always find a way to complete the sub-application and prepare the benefit-cost analysis, but the effort involved depends on what information I have when I start. It's critical that the project benefit-cost ratio, or BCR, is 1.0 or higher for the project to be eligible for BRIC funding. You might be curious, can I stop the grant application process if the project cannot achieve the benefit-cost ratio of 1.0 or higher? I'm asked this question all the time, and my answer is no. Let me explain. Completing the benefit-cost analysis and all the supporting documentation is the majority of the work that I need to do. So stopping your sub-application at that point doesn't make sense. Instead, when I'm asked to prepare a sub-application for a project outside the special flood hazard area, I start with a planning phase. During this phase, I review the available information and determine if the project aligns with FEMA's goals. If it does, we can move forward. For more information, read my previous blog or watch my video that outlines the steps in the grant application process.